Well, hello there, welcome to the Obithorian Alliance. In today's video, we are talking about Loki episode 6 for all time. And helping me with that is Luke.
Hey.
So I guess we'll summarize the episode with starting off with them entering into the castle.
Yeah, so we left last episode with them seeing the castle, so they've gone into it. So, in summarising the episode, what happens? So, we get to find out finally who the villain is, and which was who you thought it was from the beginning. But when we made our guess last week, we both went with Loki, didn't we?
Yeah.
But we found out that it is Kang the Conqueror.
He wasn't called that though.
Yeah, he didn't say his name. He said he's sometimes referred as a conqueror.
Yeah.
Or he's sometimes referred to as the last one who remains, something like that. I can't remember. It was he who remains is what they referred to him as. So we get a cool little scene. We learn about him. We learn about his backstory. We learn that he has a transcript and knows everything that's going to happen to the end of time. And then just so happens when they get there, that is the end of time. That's as far as he knows, and then everything from that point onwards is a mystery. So we learned a little bit about his backstory, which we'll get into later. Summarize what's going on at the TVA.
Morbius comes back and kind of tries and stops and has a plan with 5B3 to show the other TVA officer that their variants and
Yeah, so Mobius wants to take down the TVA. By the end of the episode, that hasn't happened yet. We're left with the Lokis having a long discussion, learning about this Kang. He explains that basically he wants them to take over his role.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to do it anymore. He explains that there's lots and lots of variants of him that will continue to keep coming to take his role, and he needs to exist in order to stop it. I think there's more to it than that. We'll talk about that later. The Lokis have a fight. The female Loki, Sylvia, kisses Loki, kicks him back through the time portal, and then she kills Kang. And then all the branches start happening and time starts to go a bit wild. And Loki sees Mobius, and Mobius does not know who he is.
No.
Because...
Well, I think this is a different timeline.
Yeah, that's what my thought is. I don't think they're being brainwashed. I think he's gone to a different timeline. And that's the end of the episode, isn't it? Like that.
It ends with, instead of, and this is why I think it's a different timeline, because in our timeline with the TVA, there were 3 statues of the Timekeepers, and this one there's 1.
So, to summarise, we find out who the villain is. We find out where his backstory, whether we know it's true or not, don't know yet. We find out his motive, which is supposedly good. And then we're left with Sylvia killing him and Loki being in a different TVA. And we find out there's a second season, so... And
the lawyer character going off to somewhere.
Yeah, the judge character disappears. Yeah, so... That's the summary. What are some key points you want to talk about? We've got... what do you think about the... We'll go and list the order of, like, as they come up in the episode. So, one of the points I put down was... we have the orange minute clock when they go into them. Yeah, we go into the castle. So what's she trying to do?
She's trying to bargain with them and offering Loki the Battle of New York, offering him actually beating the Avengers, then offering him actually defeating Thanos, and also the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, and then she offers that Sylvia can go back to whatever timeline she wants, or she can be in the same timeline as Loki, and they can be together and they can make it work, which Do you feel like it's a lie? Like, why would they be trying to convince them, or is it a test to see if
I
they're
think it was a test.
to see if they would take that up, and if they weren't, they are worthy of taking over
Yeah.
Kang's throne, maybe? But we're left on a cliffhanger, so we don't know by the end of the episode. But there's some ideas. So they meet him. He's the one who remains. And what did you think about the actor?
Yeah, he was cast pretty well, and he seemed quite comedic, but I think he was playing that because I think he kind of knew two results, and he seemed quite fine with it.
Yeah, I thought he was quite funny. I thought it was well cast. I think they did a good job. I like that he could move, and like when they went to attack him, he knew what was going to happen. I want to know more about it. We understand that, he was on like the 1300s and discovered that there was different timelines and somehow created the ability to time travel. But
the 31st century.
Yeah, but we don't understand how he... Oh, the 30, so he's from the future.
Yeah.
Okay, for some reason I was assuming he's from the past. Okay.
No, he's from the 31st century because Kane is someone that he has different versions of himself, and he... Remember when he was saying that all those Kanes were basically versing each other, and then the first one that he was talking about meant life.
Okay.
And then that's how they kind of stopped the timeline going past, and with his death, he's like, "Oh, we'll see you again."
Okay, so I guess that explains why he has such cool technology, because he's from so far in the future that they've probably invented that sort of stuff. Okay, that makes a bit of sense. What else we got? So explain the villain. What, we see Mobius and the judge, and how's their conversation go down?
Morbius thinks that she's betrayed him, and she thinks he's betrayed him, so...
And what does she want to do? She vanishes, and she's trying to find out who's behind the TVA, because she doesn't know herself, but I think she believes the TVA must be doing good work, and she said it's her life's work, and she doesn't want to take them down because she believes in their mission. Even though it's all a lie, that they're variants, she still thinks that there's a mission that needs to be completed, which is noble. I agree. I don't think that's too bad. But Mobius is like, no, we have lives. We do see a cool scene with that guard, and she's getting followed by some other time, like Minutemen, and then they see the variant of the judge, and they're a bit surprised. Cool, so that was a cool way to show them that they're variants.
Yeah, she was a principal.
Yeah. What else? So we got the Loki fights. What did you think about that?
Yeah, I guess that was showing that Sylvia's main goal was to kill the person that done everything, and Loki was more, I actually believe him, so it was the two personalities conflicting.
Yeah, because what happened was Kang said, you know what, my job is... I'm doing a good thing. I'm trying to keep the world, like all the timelines in order. I'm trying to prevent future, past, and present variants of myself coming back.
They're worse than I am.
They're worse than him.
I'm good in a way, but the other versions of myself, they're worse than I am.
Yeah, so we've got that, and then he basically convinced Tom Hiddleston Loki that, you know, you can take the throne and take on my work. I've had enough, and Sylvia doesn't want to bar of it. What do you think? Do you think he's telling the truth there, or there's some kind of bigger scheme?
I think he's telling the truth. Kane does have other versions of himself.
Okay. So that's why it's going to make him an interesting villain, because they're going to have to fight him several times?
Yeah.
So interesting, though, that one is potentially good and is doing good work.
From a certain point of view, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it really makes you think, because even Loki can be seen as a villain. Like it's an interesting show how it makes us think that. And
he does bring up a good point when Sylvie is like, "Oh, we can't trust you," and then he's like, this version of Kane is basically saying, we're all villains here, and he basically said to Seal, "Oh, grow up," when he was eating the apple, and Did you like that? Even though the actor's gonna be in a movie, did you like that he was cast in one episode, or would you prefer just to see him in that movie?
No, I'm happy to see it because I feel like he's going to be in the next season. Do we know when this is? It going to be next year, the next season, or there's going to be a delay on it?
I would assume it will be next year or 2023 because the next movie he's going to be Kang the Conqueror's Ant-Man and the Quantum Realm is 2023.
Oh, okay. So we've got plenty of time before that because I was thinking it'd have to come out before then. So in that fight we have the kiss scene. So
Yeah.
Tom Hiddleston says that he doesn't care about ruling. He just wants her to be happy. And then she kisses him. And then she presses on the temp pad, opens up a portal, pushes him through. Do you think she meant the kiss or was just a trick to push him into the portal?
Part of me kind of wants to believe that, they do like each other, but part of me does think she was scheming so she could complete her conquest because that was her goal throughout the show. What do you think?
No, I think she has feelings for him, but she also needed
a bit of both.
But she also needed him out the way to complete her mission.
Yeah.
Do you think she takes it too far? Do you think she needed to kill him after getting all that explanation? Like what? I know she spent her life on the run, but why does she? I would have thought it would have made sense for her to ask him, "Why was I a variant? Why were you worried about me?" Opposed to, "I'm just going to kill." It would have made more sense for her to ask him why she was chased her whole life, because we still don't understand why there's so many Loki variants, or is it just the Loki variants are the only ones smart enough to survive?
I guess so.
Because wouldn't you think in that world of variants there would have been like a few Thors and a couple Iron Mans or something, like other people that were smart enough to survive a life? But yeah, so I just would have liked more explanation, and that's why I think there's a bit more to it. Like there's an obsession with Loki there somewhere.
Yeah.
Or was he? Were they searching for Lokis so that it was a test to see which Lokis would be strong enough to beat Goliath, to then make it into the castle, then to beat the test with the clock, and then to be worthy enough to take the throne? Is it all one big long test?
I guess so.
And maybe he handpicked Lokis because he knows Lokis want power, and that they'd be the only people so self-absorbed that they'd be willing to sit there and do that job for all of eternity because it gave them power.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think that's my favourite explanation. Well, that's what I think. So Sylvia kills Kong. What happens after that?
We get this where the castle was in the end of time. We get to see this where all the timelines with this like space part. We get this like bubble effect of all the timelines changing and disappearing, and then
like Nexus events, like streaming off, branching off this ring of timeline, whatever it is.
And then we see our version of Morbius and 1113 saying it was worth it, and then we see their screen with all their areas, and then Loki decides to run, and then we see a lot of guards running, and then we see Morbius and them, the guard again in a different section, and then Morbius is like, "Who are you?"
Yeah, so it seems like your theory is that he's in a different timeline, which makes sense. Why would Sylvia send him back to the main one? Why would she even send him back to the TVA? She could have sent him back to Earth and where he couldn't have done anything.
Or his own timeline?
Yeah, so she's kicked him off there. He's there, he's seen them, and then you notice that there was the different statue. Instead of the 3 timekeepers, this one had one of Kang.
Actually, Kang himself, instead of the 3 so-called timekeepers that were the I guess, illusion of who was in charge all along. And it was Kang, so...
Okay, so they're the key points. Let's go questions. What do you got?
My main problem, I don't know with you, and I guess question for you, did you kind of feel like Sylvia had to, or did you feel that moment was satisfying because he was the villain? Because the problem is, it's cool that it did happen, and it was kind of thing that we knew it was going to happen, because on IMDb the actors cast as Kane the Conqueror.
I didn't actually feel like he was a villain.
No.
I feel like he's actually, if he's telling the truth, he was doing the right thing, and there's just Lokis that didn't feel that they deserved to be variants, that they should have got to live. But as I said, he saw how time ends, and he had to sort out any Nexus events, and they happened to deviate from their timeline. So yeah, I believe in his mission if it's correct, if there's not something sinister behind it. So I think her killing him was wrong.
And do you feel, out of all the MCU shows, that this event has basically set up Phase 4 in a big way? Does it make you, I guess, have more questions with the show, or how do you feel that the ending has infected how the movies are going to go? Does it make you look forward to the movies now?
Yeah, I look forward to the next lot of movies. I always have, but I've liked this show. I think this is the best show we've had so far.
Yeah.
And the fact it's getting a season 2 is cool. Like, at first it finished the episode and I was like, oh, we didn't get to know all the answers we wanted. But then I was like, oh, well, we're getting another season. I just didn't view these next run of Disney shows, Marvel Disney Plus shows, as being ongoing. I just imagine them all as one-off series. So yeah, it's cool that this could potentially be multiple series. I can't see it getting many because it builds onto the movies.
Yeah.
So it would be weird for Loki's storyline to continue on in its show version and coinciding with the movies. I think like you could get 2 seasons in, but to have multiple, like 3 or 4 seasons, it would make it really hard to tie that in with the movies. But yeah, I think it deserves 2 seasons. Maybe we should have got like a 12 episode first season or something. Maybe that would have been nice. But I guess they want to build suspense. They've purposely made us wait. So then we will then be fed our next movie or our next show. So we'll get Hawkeye, and that might build onto it a little bit more. And they're leading us on the journey they want us to go on in the order that they've picked. Marvel is Kang the Conqueror. They have planned our timeline, and we have to see the movies and shows in the episode that they've told us.
Are you looking forward to seeing a different version of the same actor, or to you, the version that we saw in Loki episode 6 is your favourite version, or are you looking forward to seeing him in Ant-Man and the Wasp? Colton Royale.
Are you talking about Kang?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if we will. I'm sure we will get some different looking variants, but I think he will remain the main one. But I don't know why he was so willing to die. Because I know there's other versions of him on the timeline, but that's not going to be him, per se, unless there's some way that he gets reincarnated. But my understanding would be that that's going to be another Kang with different, like, memories and understandings.
Well, like he said, when he passed away, I'm basically gonna come back, because he's not really afraid of dying, because it's basically a different version of himself.
Yeah, but I guess my question is, if there was multiple versions of us and I was to die today, the other version of me won't remember all the memories that you and I have had. It will have its own set of memories. So it's, at the end of the day, he kind of still died, unless there's some way that he comes back and he has the same memories. I don't know. It's a hard thing to wrap around. Questions for you. I've asked a few as I've been going. So what do you think season 2 is going to be about?
I guess Loki trying to work out this timeline and then Morbius and I guess trying maybe that other version of Morbius trying to find Loki and then maybe them meeting up and then we finally get the wow moment when they first the two of them see each other. It's like one of them goes wow.
Yeah, we were wrong about that. I was for sure thought we'd get that, but I also thought it was going to be one series.
Yeah.
One season. So we got another season of possibly getting that moment.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with that. Yeah, I think season 2 is going to be understanding more about this Kang and dealing with either more variants of him or just learning how he works and the timelines work, and then does the Ant-Man movie, is that the one where we see Kang get like again?
Yeah, Kang the Conqueror, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. Even though I said I was hoping it was going to be a Loki, I think this is probably cooler. I didn't understand the timeline and his purpose, and now it makes more sense. It's even cooler. I asked many times like how he's powerful, and now it makes sense. He's from the future and he understands time and controls time travel and time. Like time is what's powerful. Even if the most powerful person comes to fight him, he already knows when they're coming, what they're going to do. So having knowledge is his power.
He's basically a scientist, so he's basically Tony Stark, but from the 31st century.
Yeah, so it's very, very cool. Any more questions?
Would you like any characters from the movies of the shows to appear in season 2?
Oh, I love the idea of crossovers. I'd be stoked if we got more and more people from the movies crossover. None in particular, but just I like the idea of crossovers.
Out of all the seasons, out of all the shows, Loki's definitely up there.
Oh, it's the best. It's the best we've had. It's the only one that's been deserving of a second season. Falcon and the Winter Soldier was entertaining.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the best. WandaVision was really cool.
And different, yeah.
Yeah, so this is the best. WandaVision's the most unique. And Falcon and the Winter Soldier was the most expected. It did exactly what you expected and it did it well.
So out of all the shows that have come out on Disney Plus for Marvel, you would recommend to watch Loki because you feel like it has the most impact, it was different, and...
Yeah, and I guess you can watch them in any order. You could watch Loki and then watch WandaVision, then watch Falcon the Winter Soldier, because they all lead on to the next phase of movies, but they don't interact with each other. I think it's important to see Falcon and the Winter Soldier maybe before seeing Black Widow, just because of the end credit scene. I think in Black Widow, I like it better the order we got, because I thought that character was going to be good, Elaine Valentino in the show, based upon how they presented her in Falcon the Winter Soldier. So if I already had prior knowledge from the Black Widow end scene, that would have changed that whole perspective of that show.
Yeah.
Any more questions or things that we didn't talk about yet?
I guess out of for someone that hasn't got Disney Plus yet and are mainly more of the movies, would you say they would be confused leading up to like the movies? Like, would you say the shows are necessary for to keep up with the movies?
Won't know yet. They might write the movies in a way that they fill you in with enough info that you could have got away with watching them shows, but the shows are for the big fans that want to know the extras. But they might do that because they want you to join, subscribe, and watch. They want to make money off you, but maybe they might I guess they run the risk of if they do that and someone hasn't seen these shows and then they go and see the movies, they go, oh, that didn't make any sense. And then you go, oh, that was a crap movie. And then everyone else is like, no, it was amazing.
Yeah.
You just didn't see Loki, so it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So I guess they don't want to do both of those. So maybe they might try and fill you in with enough info that you could get away with not have seen Loki, but it would help if you had.
And I guess, would you like to... I feel like the Orange Clock character knows more than what she seems, because I don't know if you remember, she had 2 scenes in a row and then we didn't see her again. The scene when she tested them and then saw the judge character and then acted dumb and then basically said to the judge character, this is the information that he thinks you need to know, and then basically disappeared. So what does she know?
Oh, she'd know all. I'd say she's like Jarvis. She's like Tony Stark's Jarvis. She is a created computer by Kang, and she would know everything he knows. Yeah. So
would you like to see more backstory on her?
I don't know if there needs one. I'm guessing. I'm just assuming he built her. Like she's just made. She's an AI technology that, I don't know, serves a purpose for the TVA. She kind of like runs the TVA, and because obviously no one at the TVA knew who he was, so she does his work without his face being revealed.
So I guess our final verdict for the episode overall, and then I guess we'll do a season review of the show overall.
Yeah. Was it your favourite episode?
I feel like we got the answers. It definitely builds. But I feel like if it wasn't for episode 1, and episode 5 and episode 6, I definitely feel like episode 1 kind of steadied the ship, and then it kind of got better. Episode 3 was kind of the middle. It was okay, but episode 6 definitely stuck the landing, not disappointed, and very much pumped for season 2.
Yeah, I agree. It was the best episode in terms of finding out stuff.
Yeah. Not
the most entertaining episode out of all of them, but it was great. Left us on a good cliffhanger.
We found out why the TVA were jumping.
So it answered what we needed. I find it very hard to rank and rate episodes because they all tell a bigger story. But yeah, it was an awesome episode. What would your rating be for the whole season?
Rating be for the whole season, I would say a excellent to wow.
Yep, I'm the same. I'm going to go excellent to wow. So it's around that 4.5 star mark. It really couldn't have done much more. It had one dullish episode that was still good.
Did Sylvia really need to kill him? It's kind of like it was disappointed that she needed to, but I guess it was her story arc. But it's
we'll find out more. Maybe he is 100% a villain and she's done the right thing. So we don't know. So we will find out more about that, I think. But great series. It left us excited every week, wanting to know more, and then left us on the edge of our seats again, leading into the next season. So it's well done to Marvel again. They just continually get better and better.
Well, thank you for helping, Luke. I guess we'll give more thoughts in the full season review.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.